Welcome to Marriage Diaries on Lifestyle TV. I'm Nyonuzazen Rebecca, your host for this program. I have a lovely guest in the studio who is in person of Reverend Johnny Titus Kuzagbe. You are warmly welcome.
Thank you, Nyonuzazen.
He's a pastor at Assemblies of God, Rema Besanika Mataheko, if I'm right.
Yes, very right.
So welcome once again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So viewers, today we have a special topic for you, and which is very, very important to some of the mistakes we make before we enter into marriage, or some of the mistakes we do that we avoid before entering into marriage. So when you are in marriage and everything backfires, there is no way to go back. So we need to know the basics and some of the things, the important things we need to know before entering into marriage, so that when we go, we'll have a lovely and peaceful marriage. So stay tuned. But then I would like you to stay tuned, subscribe, so that you'll be able to like and then share. If you subscribe, you'll be able to like and share and send in your comments. Your comments are very, very important. So today we're going to talk about vital issues to discuss, or vital things to discuss between the man and the woman before you enter into the marriage. The vital things to discuss, or the things you need to know, the man or the woman need to know before you enter into the marriage. So Reverend is here to take us through this segment.
Thank you very much.
So Reverend, I want to ask, before a man or a woman will go into marriage, or if I meet you, you propose to me, and we are studying each other, what are the things we need to know, or I need to know? And what are the things you also need to know from me before we get married? Do we only have to talk about when to go to the cinema, what dress you buy for me, or what? We are beautiful. Is that all we need to know? Or there are important issues or things I need to know about you, or you also need to know about me before we get married?
Thank you very much, Nyonuzazen. Yeah, you rightly started it, and mostly when we get into relationship, instead of talking about these vital things, we talk about those that are not important. Like you said, you have already seen the lady, she's pretty, the man, you think that he's the type that you want. So, well, that is it. But then there are more things that we have to look at when we are planning or want to get into the relationship.
Okay.
So, well, we can look at the finance or the financial status of the person.
Okay.
You have to look at the religious background. You have to look at the family background.
Okay.
You have to look at the former relationship. And you also have to look at the medical status of the health status of the person.
Okay.
Yes, so we'll be looking at these 5 things. Now, we say that everything you can do with money. Okay. Sure. So that as the man is coming.
So now we are on money.
Sure, we are on money. Okay. So as the man is coming, you have to look at his financial status and find out whether he can take care of you.
Okay.
And if she's a woman, you the woman, you are looking at the man is looking at the woman. What is the woman also bringing on board? It shouldn't be like the weight being on one side.
Okay.
Yes, so that when the weight is on one side, like the man providing everything, that is where most men will take advantage of the women, because they know that they are providing everything. And once the person provides everything, it becomes like a slave. You become a slave to that person. Wow. Yeah, so there should be a way that the woman should also be able to support the man. Okay. Even if he's not bringing in more at all, at least a little that she's bringing on board can also complement. And if the woman is the one, this time around, sometimes the women earn more than the men. And even if it's a woman bringing in more, the man should be at a position to, support the woman. And so you have to look at the work that a person is doing. Is the work sustainable? Is the work that can, carry you through? Or is just like a by-day work? Can you imagine you go and marry someone who does by-day work, and when he goes and he doesn't come back with anything, what do you do? That does not mean that you can't marry such a person.
Yeah.
If you are doing such a work, you should have a plan B for yourself.
Yeah.
If you are doing by-day work, it means that you need to do kind of investment whereby at least certain amount of money will be coming into the family daily. Okay. You can establish yourself some small shop somewhere or some kind of business that a day it could bring in something. So that's on the financial side.
Okay. So the woman needs to know the man's financial status.
Sure.
And also the man also needs to know the woman's status.
Yes.
So looking at this, if I'm a woman and I'm going to marry a man and maybe I need to check his financial status, and knowing that he's not capable, this is not what I expect. What should I do?
Yeah, see, you always have to look into the future.
Yeah.
It's not only today, like we say, you are not going in for abin dada, and I say abin waha.
Oh, some people want abin dada.
No.
So if that's what the person wants, then you have to.
Yes, you have to look at the prospects. You have to look at the kind of work that the person is doing and see the future of that work. Sometimes it may not look good from the very beginning, but the work that the person is doing may have a future. Yes, so you have to weigh all these things before you go in. You don't just go in. Mostly people say that after the marriage or the wedding, then the man loses his work or the woman loses her work.
Yeah.
Then as if the marriage is what brought this problem.
Yes.
It's not. It's because you didn't plan well.
Okay.
Because sometimes the woman is working at a place and after marriage she have to leave that place or be transferred, get close to her husband or her husband getting close. All these things. Sometimes she's sewing. Where she was sewing, that's where she used to get a market. Now that she has married, she have to move to the husband's home.
Okay.
And the work in that area, they don't know her. So the work wouldn't come. The work goes down and the burden falls on the man. So you have to look at all these things. If the woman is moving to you, what work is she coming to do? Have you made up any preparation or set up something for her to come and continue with her work? Yes, you need to factor in all that.
Okay. So I think we can move to the next.
So
to finish the financial status, if, for instance, the woman is the one earning more, you need to ask yourself, is this the type of husband I want to be with? Am I the one going to provide more for him? Am I okay? Not just looking. And some of the men too, I don't know, they find it difficult to understand that maybe my woman is earning more than I am. So they end up feeling bad. And some also getting jealous of the woman.
Yes.
From at the initial stage, they don't show it. But when they get married, that's when the issues arises.
You see, men, we have ego. The ego in man would always want him to be like he is in charge.
Yeah.
So in this case that the woman is providing more in the house, I mean, why should the woman, Yeah. But then we have to come to reality. Nowadays, the women get more than we do.
Some.
Depending on, some. Well, depending on the work.
Yeah.
And even looking at job opportunities, sometimes these days I feel that the women are able to get the opportunities more than we the men.
Okay.
And maybe in terms of salary, the woman earns more than you do. So you don't have to be insecure because that is opportunity and it's an advantage. Yeah, the woman wouldn't lord it over you. Okay. The woman needs a man who would understand her and support her. So that if you know that your woman is earning more than you do, what you do is that support her at home.
Okay.
If you bring in little, help her also do the house chores. It does not make you like you are being fooled or something.
Yeah.
But you see, the ego in man, that is why
Especially
African men, well, African men don't understand. I think it's a general problem. Though. So we need to come to that understanding that if I am not anymore, my wife is anymore, there are some other means that you can also help her. And if I want to do that to the woman, whatever she has, she will give it to you.
It's true.
Yes.
It's true. Thanks so much. I think you've made a good point there. So let's move to the next stage. What was the next? Health.
Yeah, so the health status of the person is also very important, you know. We know of this sickle cell problem, whereby an SS, marrying an SS, will definitely give birth to a child who is SS. And then when you have AS and AS, you can also, there's a likelihood that you can give birth to, an SS child. And at the end of the day, these children, they become, in quotes, very problematic for the marriage, you know. The crisis that they have to go through all the time, rushing them to the hospital for attention here and there. We try as much as possible to prevent this thing. So when you come for counseling, we would advise you to go for this sickle cell test. In fact, your blood grouping test is also very important. You have to also know your blood grouping so that the medical officer will advise you whether you are compatible or you are not compatible. You'll be given advice in that sense. And also, talking about this HIV/AIDS thing, it looks as if these days we don't talk about it that much, but it's still in the system. We could also have somebody who has played around. A man who has played around and perhaps has any of this, sexually infested or whatever diseases with him. Yeah, so you could have some of these medical checks so that you save yourself trouble. Yes, it's not anything bad to say. Of course, if you detect anything like that and it's curable, why not? You do that and you love your man, you love your woman. You do that before you enter into the marriage. We are not doing that to scare you though. We just want you to know that this is the person that you are going to marry. This is the health status of the person. You know, now through even that, you could be advised things to eat, things not to eat, what to do, what not to do. You understand? So it is very good you also check the medical status of the partner that you're going to be with.
So if I may ask, who should raise that issue? Is it the man or the counselors? Yeah,
actually, when you come, you come to us. We have a form. On the form, you fill all this aspect. We ask you to do medical exam. So you go and do. In fact, that should be the first thing to do before the counseling starts. Because if the marriage will go on, it depends on your medical stand, your health stand. If it is okay, then we go ahead and do the counseling. So that if you come back and the doctor has advised that it's not possible for the two of you to be together, you may not have children, or this person is an SS, this is, the danger involved. If the health officer advises you and you feel that you want to go in, whatever the challenge, it becomes yours. So it's very important.
It's very important. So this is the case, maybe I'm not attending church and we are into a relationship. So we don't have counselors. I met this guy or the man and I wish we could get married, but then we don't have any church to go and we are doing something, we are already dating or we want to date. So can I suggest to my fiancé, that okay, let's go to the clinic and go and check one or two things before that is not even married, before we go in bed.
Into it. Yeah, so it's important. You know, some of these things we take it for granted, but in a way.
Sorry to cut you short. Because it's not everyone who gets the opportunity to get wedded before.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Doing something with each other.
Yeah, you see, we have taken things for granted, and things have gone on the way it is. Sometimes you see that God in a way pardons us.
Okay.
You see the thing. So we take things for granted that, as I'm going to marry this person, everything is okay with him or her. So we just go in. But now with the kind of exposure that we have, I mean, when you prompt your partner, it could be from the man or it could be from the woman. Let's go and try and see if this will work. Or on the other side too, you the person, before you even go into it, you have to check your status. Know your status. Before, when the lady comes or the man comes, you ask him or her to go and do. If you want to say that you to go and do, you have your documents.
What if one the other party refuses?
Yeah, that's where the danger comes in. Then it means that there's something wrong somewhere. And maybe the person knows of his or her medical stand. You see, that is why he's refusing to do it. If there is nothing to hide, why don't you go to do it? Because it's good for the two of us. It will help us.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, you don't go into it before you say, let's go and do this check, and you go to check and you say that there's this wrong, assuming you have gone into the thing, you have advanced.
Yeah.
And then you see that the man is not feeling well, oftentimes is not feeling well, and you go to check his, sickle status. Now you realize that he's SS, and you too, you know that you are AS, you are a bit safer than this SS person. So what do? Do you break or you continue with it? The consequences, you're going to have children. Okay, you may have one, the first one may not have it, the second one may have it. So you need to go into this thing, and you don't have to take it for granted. How much money will you put into this thing to save your future? You have to do it. And this shouldn't bring quarrel. If it calls for breakup, you shouldn't be afraid.
You have to.
You have to.
Don't have to tolerate.
Yeah, you don't have to tolerate. You have to break up.
Okay. Thanks so much. So, what advice can you give to someone who is dodging the checkup?
Yeah, so what I would say is that as a young man growing, you have to check your health status. It's not something that you have to dodge it. Some of us checked it way back. So by the time you talk, we know our stand, you see. And it wouldn't cost you that much. You see, these are little things that we take there for granted. But as a young man, as a young woman, growing up, getting some small money in your hand, go check your health status and know who you are. So that you know what to eat, not to eat. Where to go, not, some people, they may not be asthmatic, but they are allergic to dust and those things. So you need to go and check all these things. You are always sneezing. You are always coughing. What is causing this? You have to find out. If there is anything wrong, if there is any advice you give to yourself, you advise yourself so that you stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I think we should move to the next one.
Sure.
What to know.
Yeah, so we also looking at the family background of the person, which is very, very important. You need to know the family where you are going and who is coming to be part of you. It is very important. Yeah, we play a little bit of tribalism in some of these things, and we know that there are some tribes who don't allow certain tribes to come into them because of perhaps their cultural differences. So if you find yourself going into some of these things and you think that it will bring problem into the marriage, you don't force yourself. Love is a choice. If that, doesn't mean that if you don't marry that woman or you don't marry that man, you will die. You will definitely get another person equally loving or as you want to. You may take some time to, but when the tribe thing comes in, you have to, be careful with it. There are some parents, because of past experience, they will not allow you to go into a certain tribe. I have had an experience. I wouldn't mention the tribe. When I was going to read, the lady's father said over his dead body. And immediately that statement came up. I have to withdraw. I ran from it. And by the grace of God, I have what I want it, and I'm at peace with it.
Thank
Yes. So when it happens like that, I don't think that if I don't marry this person, I don't have marry this man. I mean, that is the end. You know, most of these times you are looking at some other things. Maybe it could be material things. How this man supports me, like a lady was sharing with me. Oh, the guy, the way he takes care of me, and the guy is messing up, but she is still like in love with the guy. You see, you don't have to look at those things. You need to look at where you will be accepted. The parents may not agree. We may force it. Yes, and they will say, okay, we'll agree. But tomorrow, when something happens, then they will say that is why we were telling you not to go into it. So we need to look at the family. In fact, sometimes when you go to check the family, there may be even some kind of family sickness or family challenge. There's a kind of problem in the family. I wouldn't say that family cases, but there are certain family kind of something that is a trend in the family. You need to look at all these things so that as you go into the family, you also build up yourself spiritually. That if you know that this is the family that you have entered and this is the challenge in this family, you have to stand strong. So you need to do a very good investigation into that family. That is not to say that don't go into it. As you go into it, prepare yourself to fight that battle.
Wow. Prepare yourself to fight that battle. I just remember something. Is it good to enter into a relationship giving up your whole heart? Because we mentioned something about that. This lady, the guy takes very good care of her. Because of that, she refuses to listen to any advice anyone gives to her. So is it good to enter into a relationship with your whole heart?
Yes, I don't know, but I would say that you don't enter the relationship with your whole heart, but you enter with your head.
That's a good answer.
Because when you go with your heart, they will break your heart, or they may break your heart.
Yeah.
But go with your head.
Okay.
I was just with a lady who has had an experience, and she was telling me that she will not, in fact, she has given birth to one, and she said that where she is now, no man can take her for granted again. She has wised up.
Wow.
You understand? Because of the experience that she has gone through. So you need to, initially when they start, there is like, my heart, the feelings I have, the feelings that I have for.
Yeah.
But as it's growing, you realize that it's not about the feeling.
Okay.
You have to apply your head. That's where you apply wisdom to the whole relationship. So you are going into the relationship. You see that this guy is a chaser. He's cheating. You've seen him, have some kind of sign with other ladies. You've seen some signs on the phone kind of thing. And you feel that when he marries you, he will stop it. No, he will not. So if you see signs like that, that's why I say that use your head, don't use your heart. And don't say that because when you see him, you feel like something is moving inside you. So that is it. No, you have to use your head. And so as you go in, you have to have the other side of it, that should this thing happen, I have to do this to myself. So that you don't go into it and the guy disappoints you, then you have broken heart. Mental problem, finding yourself. No. You don't have to go into a relationship and that when there is disappointment, then you have mental problem. Why should you? Of course, if that guy has left you or if that lady has left you, there is another person in your life. Love is what? A choice. You can choose the woman. This is what you, and I always say, you can't get all that you need in that person.
Yeah.
Perhaps you got some 50% or 60% in that person. That's why you like that person so much. You could get the other person who has the other side too, that you didn't get in the first one. So why won't you, look at that one and accept him or her the way he is?
Okay.
Do you get it? So don't go with your heart, go with your head.
Okay. Go with your head. Thank you. I think we should just wrap it up. The next one then.
So the next one, we are looking at likes and dislikes.
Okay.
Something that you really have to look at. You need to discuss what your likes are, what your dislike you need to work on these things. Maybe the kind of food you like, the kind of food you don't like.
Okay.
You know, you have to, I don't eat fufu. Then she is coming from where they eat a lot of fufu. You have to discuss it. So in this case, what is my supper? What is my lunch? What do you give for me?
Yeah.
We have to come to an agreement so that if you want to eat your fufu, yes, go ahead and eat your fufu. I want my banku. Cook my banku for me. If you can do that for me, so be it. And you look at your, maybe you like, when you are sleeping, you don't want noise. The other time, I like music high one. My wife doesn't like it. So when I raise the volume, she turns it down.
No.
You know?
That kind of
it creates a lot of problem. But then you need to understand, I've come to understand that, okay, she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So we come to a compromise where I bring it to a certain level that I have to. So now I'm used to having the low sound music.
Okay.
And if I want to enjoy it, then I move away maybe to the hall or different room and enjoy it because maybe I want to pray with it.
Yeah.
So you need to understand this shouldn't bring quarrel. You just have to understand. So discuss all these things before you get into the relationship.
To add up, I think respect too.
Yeah. You know, you have to respect the privacy of your partner. If you don't respect the privacy of your partner, then there's no love. You understand me? Respect one another is very important in the relationship. They say that opinions are like noses. Everybody has his or her opinion. If you share your thoughts and I share my thoughts, why should there be quarrel? We are all expressing ourselves. Our orientations are different. Your orientation may be different from our orientation. Growing up, where I was brought up, quite different from yours. So when I'm speaking, it's based on what I have in mind that I'm saying what I'm saying. So that does not mean that when I say something is wrong, or especially with, like I say, the men, as if the women know nothing in their head. So whatever the woman says, is childish mind or immaturity. No, the woman also has something. We have the nature and nurture. You know, the nature is naturally you grew up with something within you.
Okay.
And then the nurture is the one that you have gotten from the environment that is adding up to your life.
Wow.
So you have to make way for the other person to also express himself or herself.
Thanks
and that
so
brings
much.
respect.
Like the respect. Listening to what you just said, you said she doesn't like loud music. So you try to, because you are the one playing the music and you are the man. But because you have respect for her, you did what? You reduced it. Or if you want it loud, you take it.
But sometimes she just comes to reduce it. And you have to take it like that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't bring quarrel.
I like that. Thank you. I'll not go further. Yo, so you're listening to Marriage Diaries on Lifestyle TV. I hope you enjoyed this series. And today, my guest is Reverend Johnny Titus Kuzagbe. I'm so honored to have you with me today.
Thank you.
And viewers, I would like you to subscribe to this our channel. I'd like you to send in your likes and your comments so that the channel can also grow higher, and then we'll also have more good topics for you. My name is Nyono Zazen Rebecca. Thanks so much. Ciao.